Turns out being killed off by your own husband on a dating app is not the plot twist anyone puts in their morning meditation routine. My name is Iris, 37, AP English teacher, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I've spent 11 years married to Conrad, a software engineer who works from home, and whose greatest achievement is avoiding eye contact during arguments. Last Tuesday at 6 in the morning, he shook me awake with the desperation of someone who just realized they sent a text to the wrong person. Don't look at your phone today. Just give it to me. I was still half asleep, my brain operating at the cognitive level of a golden retriever presented with a magic trick. What? Your phone. Don't check it. Please, just trust me. Here's the thing about requests that start with, just trust me. They're the grammatical equivalent of a red flag wrapped in another red flag, doing the wave at a red flag convention. I teach teenagers. I know when someone's hiding something catastrophic. I have 2 AP English classes before lunch, Conrad. My phone stays with me. He went pale. And I don't mean pale like forgot sunscreen at the beach. Pale. I mean pale like just remembered where they buried the body. Pale. His voice dropped to a whisper that somehow made the suburban morning feel like a horror movie. You're going to hate me by noon. Then he shuffled back to our bedroom like a man walking to his own execution. I should have pressed him. I should have grabbed my phone right then and scrolled through whatever digital apocalypse was waiting for me. But here's the problem with being a teacher. You develop this Pavlovian response to alarm clocks. 6 a.m. means shower, coffee, get dressed, survive traffic, pretend to be a functional adult. Critical thinking doesn't activate until at least 7:30. So I did exactly what I do every Tuesday. Made coffee, fed Rutherford, our catastrophically obese orange tabby who judges me from various furniture surfaces, got dressed, drove to school, taught first period Macbeth to 17-year-olds who think iambic pentameter is a new cryptocurrency. My phone sat in my bag on silent mode, which is how I prefer it during class anyway. No parent emails, no administrative nonsense, just me, Shakespeare, and teenagers who keep asking if Lady Macbeth was toxic or just misunderstood. Second period, same thing. More Macbeth. More existential discussions about ambition and guilt. One kid asked if Macbeth would have gotten caught if he'd just been smarter about the murders, which honestly, valid question. At 11:43 a.m., during my lunch break, I finally checked my phone. 47 messages. 47. For context, I usually get maybe 5 messages a day. Most of them are Canvas notifications about students turning in late work. Seeing 47 unread messages is like opening your front door and finding your house has been replaced with a circus. The first message was from Deanna, mother of one of my junior students. We'd met at parent-teacher conferences. Nice woman. Worked in real estate. Obsessed with true crime podcasts. Iris, I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this, but my sister was on Tinder last night and, well, you need to see this. Screenshot attached. I opened it. Tinder profile, professional-looking photo. My husband's face smiling back at me with that specific brand of confidence that comes from believing you won't get caught. Name, Conrad, 39. Bio, widower trying to find love again after losing my wife to cancer last year. Father to 2 rescue dogs. Love hiking, craft beer, and The Office. Looking for someone who can laugh at dad jokes and doesn't mind a guy who's still figuring out how to navigate this whole dating thing again. I read it 3 times. Then a 4th time, because surely my brain was malfunctioning. Problems with this biography. In ascending order of audacity. 1. I am not dead. 2. I have never had cancer. 3. I am, in fact, very much alive. 4. We don't have 2 rescue dogs. We have 1 cat. One extremely judgmental, overweight cat named Rutherford who has never rescued anything except food from his bowl. 5. Conrad hates hiking. Last year, I suggested we try the trails at Akanichi Mountain and he acted like I'd proposed we summit Everest in our underwear. 6. He doesn't drink craft beer. He drinks Miller Lite. From a can. While watching YouTube videos about mechanical keyboards. But the absolute masterpiece, the Sistine Chapel ceiling of betrayal, he'd killed me, given me cancer, written me out of existence like I was a character who didn't test well with focus groups. The other 46 messages were variations on the same theme. Parents from school, fellow teachers, my neighbors from 3 doors down, someone from my book club, my dental hygienist, that woman I always see at Target who I'm pretty sure I went to high school with but have never confirmed. All of them sending screenshots. All of them saying some version of, "Is this your husband?" All of them clearly wondering if I was complicit or clueless. Then I got to message number 38, my sister Willa, all caps, no punctuation, just pure distilled rage. 5 people have sent me this. Iris? 5? Has using photos from your wedding, with your face cropped out. I zoomed in on the profile pictures. She was right. That photo of Conrad in the blue button-down looking all clean-cut and responsible. Our wedding reception. I'd been standing next to him. My arm was still visible on his shoulder. He'd just cropped me out. Photoshopped me into oblivion. Like I was a stray thumb in an otherwise perfect shot. There were 5 photos total. 3 from our wedding. 1 from our vacation to Asheville where he'd somehow digitally removed me from a restaurant booth. 1 awkward gym selfie that looked like he'd taken it specifically for this purpose. The bell rang. Lunch was over. I had third period in 4 minutes. I stood up, walked to the bathroom, looked at myself in the mirror. I looked exactly like I had that morning. Same green cardigan, same simple makeup, same person who had spent 11 years with someone who apparently found me so easy to erase. My phone buzzed. Another message. This time from my mother. Iris, call me. Now. Oh, right. The lunch. Conrad had invited my parents over for lunch today at noon. A Tuesday lunch at our house, which had seemed weird when he suggested it 3 days ago, but I'd been busy grading essays about The Great Gatsby and hadn't questioned it. He knew. He knew the messages were coming. He knew they'd hit before my parents arrived. That's why he wanted my phone at 6 a.m. I drove home. 12 minutes that felt like 12 hours. Turned onto our street. Both my parents' cars were already in the driveway. It was 12:14 p.m. Through the living room window, I could see my mother pacing, my father sitting on our couch with his arms crossed. That particular stance he does when he's decided someone is no longer worthy of his respect. Conrad's car was still in the garage. I walked up to the front door. My mother opened it before I could reach for my keys. Her face was the specific combination of fury and heartbreak that only mothers can achieve. Iris, honey, we need to talk about your husband. From somewhere inside the house, I heard a door slam. My father was the first to speak. He didn't stand up, didn't hug me, just looked at me with that expression he reserves for people who cut him off in traffic and politicians he disagrees with. Your husband is locked in his office. He refuses to come out. Says he needs to fix something before he talks to anyone. My mother was less composed. Iris, everyone in Chapel Hill has seen this. My prayer group, the women from my Pilates class. Someone posted it in the neighborhood Facebook group with the caption, "Does anyone know this man's actual wife?" with a question mark and 3 exclamation points. The neighborhood Facebook group. That digital cesspool where people argue about lawn maintenance and whether the new traffic light on Franklin Street is a blessing or a government conspiracy. My fake death had made it past the usual posts about lost cats and suspicious teenagers walking through yards. I walked past them, down the hallway, past the kitchen where Conrad had apparently set out sandwich fixings for lunch like this was going to be a normal Tuesday, past the guest bathroom, straight to his office door. Locked. I knocked. Conrad. Open the door. Silence. Conrad, my parents are here. 47 people sent me screenshots. Open the door or I'm opening it myself. The lock clicked. The door opened approximately 4 inches. Conrad's face appeared in the gap. He looked like he'd aged 7 years in 6 hours. Red eyes, hair standing up, still wearing the pajama pants he'd had on at 6 a.m. I can explain. You killed me off, Conrad. You gave me cancer and killed me. It wasn't personal. I stared at him. You made me dead. How is that not personal? He opened the door wider. His computer was behind him, screen visible. Tinder was open. He'd been frantically deleting things. Messages, matches, photos. His profile now said, "Account deactivated" in gray text. I was going to tell you. I just needed to figure out how. How long has this been active? He looked at his feet. 3 months. 3 months. 90 days, an entire quarter of the year. While I was teaching Shakespearean tragedies to teenagers, My husband was out here creating his own. Did you meet anyone? A few coffee dates. Nothing serious. Nobody wanted a widower once they realized I was still sad all the time. You weren't sad, Conrad. You were lying. There's a difference. My mother appeared behind me. She had that look she gets when she's decided someone is beyond redemption. Iris, pack a bag. You're staying with us until you figure out what you want to do. I'm not leaving my house. Then he can leave. She pointed at Conrad like he was a stain on the carpet. My father joined us in the hallway. Son, I think you should spend a few nights somewhere else. Conrad's face went from pale to red. This is my house too. I pay the mortgage. You also committed fraud on a dating app, my father said, in that calm accountant voice he uses when he's absolutely done with someone's nonsense. Do you want Iris to contact a lawyer today, or would you prefer to make this easy? It's not fraud. It's just creative storytelling. I laughed. Actually, laughed. The kind of laugh that comes out when your brain can't process the audacity anymore and just defaults to hysteria. Creative storytelling? Conrad, you're a software engineer, not a novelist. And even novelists don't kill off their wives for dating purposes. My phone buzzed. Another message, then another, then 5 more in rapid succession. I looked at the screen. 3 of them were from numbers I didn't recognize. I opened the first one. Hi, this is Cleo. I matched with Conrad on Tinder 2 months ago. He told me his wife died of cancer and his dog needed emergency surgery. He asked to borrow $1,500. I sent it. I just saw the screenshots going around. Is this real? I showed it to Conrad. You. Borrowed. Money? I was going to pay her back. With what money? What did you even need $1,500 for? He wouldn't look at me. I bought a new gaming chair. A gaming chair. He'd scammed a cardiologist out of $1,500 to buy a chair for his rear end while pretending his fake sick dog needed surgery. My mother made a sound like a tea kettle reaching maximum capacity. Iris. Pack. Now. The second message was from someone named Fallon. Your husband told me he was a widower with 2 young kids. Sent me pictures of kids at a playground. Said he was looking for a mother figure. I felt so bad for him. Then someone sent me a screenshot of a Facebook post saying he's married with no kids. Who were those children? I looked at Conrad. Whose children did you use for your fake dating profile? Stock photos. From the internet. You used stock photo children? They looked wholesome. The third message was the worst. It was from someone named Petra. I'm so sorry. I had no idea he was married. We went on 4 dates. He seemed so genuine about losing his wife. He cried when he talked about her. I can't believe I fell for it. Please know I would never knowingly date someone's husband. Conrad had cried. Actual tears. For his fake dead wife. For me. While I was alive. Probably grading papers in the next room while he manufactured grief for his Tinder performance. I turned to my parents. Can you give us a minute? My mother looked like she wanted to argue, but my father put his hand on her shoulder. They went back to the living room. I heard my mother say something about calling her lawyer friend. I closed the office door. Looked at Conrad. Really, looked at him. Why? He sat down in his $1,500 gaming chair. I don't know. I just felt invisible. You have your students who love you. You have your book club. You have your whole life at that school. And I'm just here. Working from home. Talking to my computer all day. I wanted to feel like someone saw me. So you made me disappear to make yourself visible? It sounds bad when you say it like that. Conrad, it sounds bad when you say it anyway. My phone buzzed again. I looked at it. This time, it was a message in the Chapel Hill Community Facebook group. Someone had created an entire post about it. With screenshots, with commentary, with people I knew chiming in. Deanna, the real estate agent mom, had written, "This is Iris's husband. She teaches at CHHS. She's alive. He's been catfishing the entire dating app community. 93 comments already. Someone wrote, I matched with him. He told me his wife died in a car accident, not cancer. Get your stories straight, dude. Another. This is why I don't trust dating apps anymore. Another. Wait, is this the same guy who coaches Little League? He doesn't. Never has. Doesn't even like baseball. My phone rang. The school. My principal. I answered. Hi, Dr. Monroe. Iris. I just want you to know that the school supports you during this situation. Several parents have called. Take whatever time you need. I have classes tomorrow. Maybe take a personal day. Let this settle down. Let it settle down. Like my husband faking my death was a minor social inconvenience that would blow over by Wednesday. I hung up, looked at Conrad. You need to leave. Today. Now. Where am I supposed to go? I don't care. Your mother's house? A hotel? The parking lot of a Costco? Anywhere that isn't here. He stood up slowly, like maybe if he moved carefully enough, this whole situation would rewind. Iris, I know I messed up, but you didn't mess up, Conrad. Messing up is forgetting to buy milk. You orchestrated an entire fictional reality where I was dead and you were a tragic hero. That's not a mess up. That's a character reveal. He left the office, walked to our bedroom, started packing a duffel bag while my parents watched from the living room like this was the worst reality show they'd ever seen. 15 minutes later, he was gone. My mother hugged me. My father said something about calling lawyers in the morning. I sat on the couch. Rutherford jumped up next to me, purring like nothing had changed. My phone buzzed again. Another message. This time from Cleo, the cardiologist. I'm filing a police report for the money, but also, thank you. He was asking me to meet his kids next week. You probably saved me from something much worse. I typed back, you saved yourself by being smart enough to question it. But you're welcome. Then I did something I'd never done before. I opened Facebook, made a post on my personal page, kept it simple. Reporting live from my living room. I did not die of cancer. I am alive. My cat is also alive. We have no dogs. We have no children. Thank you for your concern. Stay tuned for updates on my very much alive life. Posted it. Public setting. Within 2 minutes, 397 likes. Within 5 minutes, 89 comments. My sister Willa. I'm coming over with wine. My book club friend Thea. This is the most dramatic thing to happen in Chapel Hill since that squirrel got stuck in the library ceiling. Someone I barely knew from Target. You're an icon. Divorce him. I was going viral. In Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Population 65,000. Where the most exciting thing that usually happens is when the Trader Joe's runs out of cauliflower gnocchi. My phone rang again. This time, an unknown number. I answered. Is this Iris? This is Fallon, the one who messaged you earlier. Listen, I'm a paralegal. If you need help with your divorce, I know people. Free consultation. It's the least I can do. I started laughing. Couldn't stop. My fake death had just assembled my divorce legal team. Willa arrived 30 minutes later with 2 bottles of wine and the energy of someone who'd been waiting her entire life for permission to hate my husband. I never liked him, she announced, setting the bottles on my kitchen counter. Too quiet. Quiet people are always hiding something. Willa, you literally said at our wedding that you were glad I found someone calm. I was being polite. It was your wedding. You don't tell the bride her husband looks like he has a secret spreadsheet for fun. My mother had left to pick up dinner. My father was in the living room, scrolling through his phone with the intensity of someone conducting a federal investigation. Rutherford was asleep on the back of the couch, completely unbothered by the domestic implosion happening around him. I opened my laptop. If Conrad could create an entire fake persona online, I could do some investigating of my own. First stop, our joint bank account. Nothing unusual. Mortgage payments, utilities, groceries. His direct deposits from work came in like clockwork every 2 weeks. My teacher salary deposited monthly. Everything looked normal until I started scrolling back 3 months. There. A Venmo payment. $500 to someone named Barrett. Then another one. $300 to someone called Griffin. Then another. $200 to Sterling. I kept scrolling. Over 3 months, multiple Venmo payments totaling over $1,000 to various male names. Barrett, Griffin, Sterling, and several others I didn't recognize. All of them with generic profile pictures. Mountains, dogs, gym selfies. Willa, come look at this. She leaned over my shoulder, wine glass in hand. Who are these people? I have no idea, but Conrad sent them money. I opened a new browser tab, Googled Tinder coaching services, because surely that wasn't a real thing. Surely men weren't paying other men to teach them how to lie more effectively on dating apps. Turned out, it was absolutely a real thing. Entire websites dedicated to Tinder optimization, profile photo analysis, bio writing services, message templates, conversion strategies, one site advertised, turn your matches into dates, guaranteed results or your money back, the price is matched, $500 for a profile overhaul, $300 for a message strategy package, $200 for ongoing consultation. Conrad hadn't just decided to be a widower on impulse. He'd paid people to help him do it better. I clicked on one of the websites, read through the testimonials. Barrett helped me go from 0 matches to 20 matches a week. Griffin's messaging strategies got me 5 dates in 1 month. Sterling's profile optimization changed my entire dating life. These were the names from our bank account. My husband had hired dating coaches. Multiple dating coaches. Spent over $1,000 learning how to convincingly pretend I was dead. "Oh, this is beautiful," Willa said, reading over my shoulder. "This is evidence. This shows premeditation." I screenshotted everything. Every Venmo payment, every coaching website, every testimonial. Saved them all to a folder labeled Tax Documents 2024, because if Conrad somehow got access to my laptop, he'd never look there. Then I did something that surprised even me. I searched Conrad's name on Google. Page 1, his LinkedIn, his GitHub repositories, normal software engineer stuff. Page 2, a Reddit account. Username, Conrad RTP, his initials plus our area code for Raleigh-Durham. I clicked it. Public profile. Post history going back 2 years. The most recent post was in a subreddit called Dating After Loss. Title, 6 months since losing my wife. Finally ready to date again. Any advice? Posted 4 months ago. I read through the comments. Dozens of people offering sympathy, sharing their own grief stories, giving him advice on how to honor his dead wife's memory while moving forward. He'd responded to every single one, thanked them, shared details about my cancer battle, said he was taking it one day at a time. I clicked on his profile history. More posts in grief support subreddits. Posts about being a single dad. Posts in dog owner communities about his rescue dogs, who helped him through the hard times. He'd built an entire online persona. For months, while I was alive, in the next room. Grading essays about the Great Gatsby and teaching teenagers about dramatic irony, without realizing I was living in one. Willa, he's been doing this for months, since before the Tinder profile. She read through the Reddit posts. Her face went from amused to genuinely angry. "Iris, this isn't a midlife crisis. This is calculated. He practiced being a widower." I kept digging. Found more accounts. Instagram under a slightly different name. Facebook profile he'd hidden from his main account. Twitter where he'd posted about starting over after tragedy. Each platform had the same story. Different details sometimes. Cancer, car accident, sudden illness. But always the same theme. Devoted husband, now alone, seeking connection. Please feel sorry for me. And people did feel sorry for him. Hundreds of comments across platforms. People sharing their condolences, offering advice, sending support. He'd crowdsourced sympathy from strangers while eating dinner across from his very alive wife. My phone buzzed. Text from Fallon, the paralegal. "I talked to my boss. He's one of the best divorce attorneys in the Triangle area. He wants to meet with you. Tomorrow if you're available. Also, I found 2 more women who matched with Conrad. They're willing to provide statements if needed." I typed back, "Tomorrow works. Thank you." Then another text came through. This one from a number I didn't recognize. "Hi Iris, this is Petra, the one who went on 4 dates with him. I kept all our text messages. He told me he was taking things slow because he didn't want his kids to get attached to someone who might leave. He made me feel guilty for wanting to move faster. I have screenshots of everything. If you need them for legal purposes, they're yours." I had accidentally assembled a legal team and a witness list in less than 6 hours. My father appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Iris, I've been doing some research. North Carolina is an equitable distribution state for divorce. That means marital assets get divided fairly, not necessarily equally. But if you can prove marital misconduct, the court can award you a larger share. Dad, are you reading divorce law? I'm an accountant. I understand legal frameworks." He sat down at the kitchen table with his laptop. "The money he spent on those coaching services came from your joint account. That's marital funds used for an extramarital affair pursuit. The money he fraudulently obtained from that Cleo woman could be grounds for criminal charges, which strengthens your case. You've been researching this for 20 minutes. I work quickly when I'm motivated. He pulled up a spreadsheet. Because of course he did. I'm documenting every financial discrepancy, every suspicious transaction, everything we'll need. My mother came back with food from Mediterranean Deli, a local spot we'd been going to for years. She unpacked containers of hummus, falafel, and chicken shawarma like she was preparing for battle. Eat, she commanded. You need energy. Tomorrow we're meeting with lawyers. Willa raised her wine glass. To Iris, the woman who was so boring her husband had to kill her off to make his life interesting. I actually laughed. That might be the worst toast I've ever heard. You want a better toast? Fine. To Iris, who's about to teach her husband that murdering your wife on social media has consequences, even if she's not technically dead. We ate. My father showed me his spreadsheet, which was color-coded and had multiple tabs. My mother made a list of everyone she knew who'd gotten divorced and which lawyers they'd used. Willa scrolled through Conrad's Reddit history and read the most ridiculous posts out loud. My phone kept buzzing. More messages from women who'd matched with Conrad. More offers of help. More evidence piling up. By 9 p.m., I had screenshots of over $1,000 in coaching payments, links to 5 different social media accounts where Conrad had practiced being a widower, contact information for 7 women willing to provide statements, 3 lawyer recommendations, my father's comprehensive financial spreadsheet, a police report number from Cleo regarding the $1,500 I sat on my couch, Rutherford purring beside me, and looked at everything I'd gathered. Conrad thought he was clever, thought he could compartmentalize his fake life and his real life, keep them separate, control the narrative. But here's what he forgot. I teach AP English. I teach 17-year-olds how to analyze text for subtext, how to identify unreliable narrators, how to spot plot holes and character inconsistencies. My husband had turned himself into a character study, and I was about to write his final chapter. I texted Fallon, "What time tomorrow? I have evidence to share." She responded immediately, 10 a.m. Bring everything you've got. My boss is going to love this case. I looked at Willa. Want to come to a lawyer meeting tomorrow? Obviously. Someone needs to document this for the family archives. My phone buzzed one more time. Another unknown number. Iris, this is Barrett. I'm one of the dating coaches Conrad hired. I just saw what happened. He told me he was divorced. I never would have helped him if I'd known he was married. I'm refunding his money, and I'm willing to testify about what services he purchased. This isn't what my business is about. Even the dating coaches were turning on him. I fell asleep that night on my parents' couch with Rutherford on my chest and my laptop open to a document titled Evidence. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. Wednesday morning, 10 a.m. sharp, I walked into the law office of Mitchell & Associates with Willa, my father's spreadsheet, and enough screenshots to crash a small server. The attorney, Roger Mitchell, was exactly what you'd expect from someone who'd spent 28 years handling messy divorces in North Carolina. Silver hair, reading glasses on a chain, the expression of a man who'd heard every excuse and believed none of them. Fallon sat beside him, legal pad ready. I laid out everything. The Tinder profile, the Reddit posts, the Instagram account, the coaching payments, the $1,500 scammed from Cleo, the 7 women willing to testify. Roger looked through it all in silence. Then he leaned back in his chair and smiled. Actually smiled. Mrs. Harper, in 28 years of practicing family law, I have never seen someone document their own misconduct this thoroughly. Your husband essentially created a prosecutable case file against himself. So we can use all of this? We can use all of this. The fraudulent solicitation of funds from Ms. Cleo establishes a pattern of deception for financial gain. The coaching payments from your joint account demonstrate misuse of marital assets. The multiple fake social media profiles show premeditation and sustained effort to engage in extramarital relationships. He tapped the screenshots. This isn't a man who made a mistake. This is a man who built infrastructure for infidelity. Willa leaned forward. What does that mean in actual consequences? It means North Carolina recognizes marital misconduct as grounds for an unequal division of assets. It means I can argue for her to receive a significantly larger portion of marital property, retirement accounts, and any equity in their home. It also means we can pursue alienation of affection claims against anyone he actually consummated a relationship with. He went on dates with at least 3 women, I said. I have their statements. Even better. Discovery in this case is going to be fascinating. Roger made a note. I'll file for divorce tomorrow. Grounds, adultery, and marital misconduct. I'll also request immediate separation of finances and exclusive possession of the marital home. How long does this take? In North Carolina, you need to be separated for a year before divorce is finalized. But we can make that year very expensive for him. Roger smiled again. That lawyer smile that meant someone was about to have a very bad time. I'm also going to recommend you contact the district attorney's office about the fraud committed against Ms. Cleo. Fallon spoke up. I already did. They're interested. Especially since it crosses state lines. Cleo lives in Virginia. That potentially makes it wire fraud. Wire fraud. Federal charges. I'd gone from teaching Macbeth to potentially sending my husband to federal court in less than 48 hours. We spent another hour going through details. Roger took copies of everything. Gave me a list of things to do. Change passwords. Open a separate bank account. Document any contact from Conrad. Keep records of everything. When we left, Willa looked at me. You know what the best part is? He did this to himself. Every single piece of evidence came from him voluntarily posting it online. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Iris? This is Dr. Sharon Way from the North Carolina Medical Board. I'm calling about a complaint we received regarding Dr. Cleo Montgomery. She mentioned in her police report that she was defrauded by someone claiming to have a sick dog, and our office was copied on the complaint. I wanted to reach out because we take fraud targeting medical professionals very seriously. I'm sorry. What does this have to do with me? Dr. Montgomery mentioned you in her report as a witness to your husband's pattern of deception. We're building a case to warn other professionals in the medical community about romance scams. Would you be willing to provide a statement? I looked at Willa. Mouthed medical board. Yes? Absolutely yes. Wonderful. I'll send you the paperwork. And Mrs. Harper? I'm sorry this happened to you, but I'm very glad you're fighting back. I hung up. Willa was grinning. Did the medical board just join your revenge team? Apparently, professional organizations take fraud seriously. We drove back to my house. My parents were there, along with my principal, Dr. Monroe. Iris, I hope you don't mind me stopping by, Dr. Monroe said. I wanted to make sure you're okay. Also, the school board called. Someone sent them the screenshots. They want to make sure there's no impact on school reputation. Impact on school reputation? I'm the victim here. I know, and I told them that. But you know how school boards are. Optics matter. She paused. However, I also told them that if they even think about asking you to resign or take unpaid leave, I'll be calling the teachers' union and the local news. A teacher being humiliated by her husband isn't grounds for employment action. Thank you. Also, 3 parents withdrew their kids from other teachers' classes to specifically request yours. Apparently, you're now the most popular teacher in school. The kids think you're iconic. Of course. Nothing makes teenagers respect you more than public humiliation handled with dignity. My phone buzzed. Text from a number saved as Conrad Cell. Iris, we need to talk. This is getting out of hand. Can we meet somewhere private? I showed it to Roger's paralegal, Fallon, who'd texted me her number. She responded immediately, Do not meet him alone. Do not communicate without documenting. Forward me every message. I forwarded Conrad's text, then responded, All communication goes through my attorney, Roger Mitchell, Mitchell & Associates. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. You hired Roger Mitchell? Iris, that's the guy who destroyed Dave Peterson in his divorce. He's ruthless. I'm aware. This doesn't have to be a war. We can work this out. You made it a war when you killed me off for dating purposes. The dots appeared and disappeared 5 more times. No response came. Willa read over my shoulder. He's panicking. Good. That afternoon, things escalated in ways I couldn't have predicted. Conrad's employer called me. His manager, a woman named Juno. Mrs. Harper, I'm calling because Conrad listed you as his emergency contact. He hasn't shown up for work today or yesterday, and he's not responding to emails. Is everything okay? Depends on your definition of okay. Did you know he's been telling people I died of cancer? Silence. Then, I'm sorry, what? Check social media. It's everywhere. Chapel Hill community groups, Facebook. He created dating profiles claiming to be a widower. More silence. Mrs. Harper, our company has a very strict ethics policy. Fraud, even in personal matters, reflects on professional integrity. I need to report this to HR. That's your choice to make. She hung up. 10 minutes later, Conrad texted, My job just called me in for a meeting. What did you do? I didn't respond. By evening, the dominoes were falling faster than I could track. Cleo had filed her police report. The district attorney's office had opened an investigation. The medical board was circulating warnings about romance scams. Roger had filed divorce papers. Conrad's employer had started an ethics investigation. And then the local news picked it up. Not my name, thankfully. But the story. Local man accused of creating fake widower persona on dating apps, defrauding multiple women. They interviewed someone from a domestic abuse organization about patterns of deception, someone from a dating safety nonprofit about red flags, someone from the police about romance scam prevention. Conrad had become a cautionary tale. My phone rang. Conrad's mother, Paula. Iris, what is happening? Conrad is staying with me and he won't stop crying. He says you've ruined his life. Paula, he told people I died. He scammed women out of money. He spent our savings on dating coaches. He said it was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding is confusing salt for sugar. Not creating 5 different social media accounts to fake your wife's death. You're being vindictive. I'm being accurate. There's a difference. She hung up on me. Willa, who'd been listening, raised her wine glass. To vindictive accuracy. I'll drink to that. That night, Conrad sent one final text. I'm sorry. I know you won't believe me, but I'm sorry. I stared at it for a long time, thought about responding, thought about all the things I wanted to say. Instead, I forwarded it to Roger Mitchell with a note. Document this. Then I blocked Conrad's number. The war he'd started was over. He'd just lost. 13 months later, I'm sitting in my newly renovated living room. Freshly painted walls, new furniture that Conrad never touched. Rutherford sprawled across a cat tree I bought with money from the divorce settlement. And I'm thinking about how people always say revenge is a dish best served cold. They're wrong. Revenge is a dish best served legally documented, with witnesses, and filed in triplicate with the court system. The divorce finalized last month. North Carolina's 1-year separation requirement meant I had 12 months to watch Conrad's life implode in slow motion, while mine got progressively better. It was like watching someone try to put out a fire with gasoline while I sat across the street with popcorn. The final settlement. I got the house, 65% of our savings, half his retirement account, and 3 years of alimony. Roger Mitchell earned every penny of his fee. Turns out judges don't look kindly on men who fake their wives' deaths for dating purposes and defraud medical professionals. Conrad's settlement. A valuable lesson about how technology keeps receipts forever, and a rental apartment in Raleigh near his mother's house. As for the criminal charges, Cleo decided not to press them after Conrad paid her back the $1,500, plus interest, plus an additional $1,000 for emotional distress. The district attorney still gave him a formal warning that's now part of public record. Future background checks will be interesting for him. His job at the software company? Gone. The ethics investigation found that he'd violated their code of conduct policy. Something about maintaining integrity both professionally and personally. They didn't fire him for the Tinder situation directly. They fired him for lying to HR about it during the investigation. Amateur mistake. He found new work eventually. Contract position. Pays less. No remote work option, which means he has to go into an actual office and interact with actual humans who might Google him. The 7 women who matched with him all went on to live their best lives. Cleo sent me a Christmas card. She's engaged now to someone she met at a medical conference. Someone who, shockingly, has never faked anyone's death. Petra started a blog about dating red flags that has over 50,000 followers. Fallon got promoted at her law firm and sends me funny legal memes occasionally. As for me, the English teacher whose husband turned her into a cautionary tale, I became the most requested teacher at Chapel Hill High School. Enrollment in my AP English classes went up 40%. Parents specifically ask for me. Not because of the drama, but because word got out about what happened afterward. Turns out, a teacher who handled public humiliation with dignity, legal strategy, and zero tolerance for nonsense sends a pretty good message to teenage girls about self-respect. I started a unit on media literacy and digital identity. We analyze how people construct personas online, how to spot manipulation, how to recognize when someone's narrative doesn't match reality. The kids love it. One student wrote her college essay about learning critical thinking from her teacher's divorce. She got into Duke. Dr. Monroe nominated me for Teacher of the Year. I didn't win, but the nomination itself felt like vindication. Willa still comes over every Tuesday with wine and moral support. My parents sold their house and moved into a retirement community 20 minutes away. They visit weekly. My father brings his laptop and updated spreadsheets tracking various investments. My mother brings containers of food and opinions about my dating life. Which brings me to the question everyone asks. Am I dating? Not yet. Maybe eventually. But here's what I learned. I spent 11 years with someone who found me so unmemorable that killing me off seemed easier than having an honest conversation about whatever midlife crisis he was experiencing. That does something to your head, but it also clarifies things. I'm not interested in being someone's convenient fiction anymore. Not interested in men who need coaching to be interesting. Not interested in relationships where I'm doing all the emotional labor while my partner's out there crafting alternate realities. The bar is now very simple. Be honest, be kind, and don't fake my death for sympathy points. Apparently that's a high bar these days, but I'm okay with it. Rutherford, for what it's worth, has never been happier. Turns out he didn't like Conrad either. Animals know things. I run into Conrad occasionally. Chapel Hill isn't that big. We don't speak. He looks tired. Older. Like a man who bet everything on a bluff and lost. I look, according to my students, actually happy for once. The whole experience taught me something they don't put in self-help books. Sometimes the trash takes itself out, but you still have to change the locks and fumigate. Conrad thought he could rewrite our story by erasing me from it. Instead, he wrote himself out and left me with the best chapter yet. I'm teaching teenagers about unreliable narrators and tragic flaws. I'm living in a house that's entirely mine. I'm drinking wine with my sister on Tuesday nights and laughing about things that aren't funny yet, but will be eventually. And somewhere in Raleigh, my ex-husband is learning that the internet never forgets, screenshots are forever, and killing off your wife on Tinder is a terrible long-term strategy. The moral of this story isn't about revenge or justice or even karma. It's simpler than that. If someone treats you like you're disposable, believe them. And then dispose of them first, with proper legal documentation and a really good attorney. Because some stories don't need villains to be defeated. Sometimes they just need witnesses, evidence, and a protagonist who refuses to stay dead.